Hello, everyone. Welcome back. I'm Rico,
I'm Tony.
and this is the podcast known as Relatively Sound, the podcast that calls the hearse. Today, Tony, I think you have predicted your future, but not really. You predicted your future last episode because when I talked about giving you a album that was in familiar grounds, you said, "Oh, I'm getting Spoon." You weren't going to be getting Spoon. When we recorded that just 20 minutes ago, we were not going down the Spoon route. I was going to give you another hip album. But then I was like, "Ooh, this would be perfect to give you your third Spoon album."
I changed the course of history for the worst.
Well, if people don't know, this is their first episode they're watching. Tony's reacted to two Spoon albums. He did Hot Thoughts, which I know is probably controversial first Spoon album to give someone, and then Gaga Gaga Gaga, which is definitely a more like respectable Spoon album to give someone. So, and you seem like you liked Hot Thoughts a little bit more, but Spoon's definitely not one of those bands you're jiving with as much. Like, they're kind of like with the hip, I feel like, for you, where it's like you like some stuff, you don't like other stuff. But I feel like, at least with the hip, you've heard so many albums now that you're kind of like, yeah, I dig this band. They're not my favorite, but I dig them. Where Spoon, I still feel like you're kind of trying to figure it out, like, if you even like them.
With Spoon, I think there's more song. Like I think I usually get worse for the hip. I'm just kind of zoned out of a song, but there are some Spoon songs I don't like. I do like Hot Thoughts more than the other album. I just think there's a little bit. I think it's a little more interesting. I like some of the production choices on there. Like title track is a banger. But there are still moments that I'm just not really into, which is fine.
Well, speaking of production, that's why I've chosen this album as your third Spoon album. Their album, Transference. It is their seventh studio album. It came out in 2010. And I think this is considered one of their weirdest albums. They're kind of a band that goes like they'll do a normal Spoon album, kind of rock, and then they'll do something different, whether they do a different style or their songs with different production choices. I will say this: I don't think there's anything like that you're gonna like hate, like "The Ghost in You Lingers."
Okay, that's good. That is good. That's my least favorite Spoon
But
song.
I also don't think there's really any forgettable moments on this album because I think it's either the songwriting is different for them or the production is different. This is definitely a really good headphone album, in my opinion.
Okay. Well, good thing
Um,
I'm wearing headphones.
yeah, good thing.
I'm on top of the game.
And I think this just has really interesting production. Whether you're going to agree or like all of it, it's hard to say, but there's not the many songs on here where it's just down the middle songwriting and production choice. You ready to give it a listen?
Let's get to it.
All right. Right. First track, Before Destruction.
Oh, yeah, I'm liking this intro so far. Oh, okay, we're in there. Kind of sounds like it's like a demo of just like a one mic on the, you know, the vocal acoustic in a room. Okay, a lot louder now. Very drony, very noisy. Which is still something I remember a long time ago you were not a fan of.
I've grown.
A lot of just like kind of this emphasis on this one note. I guess it's two notes now, but False Head was my favorite part, probably like this little section here. So yeah, okay, that was an interesting opening track. We haven't, so it's kind of one of those ones that I guess I would call it like a full song actually, but it definitely doesn't follow like a super clear song format, right? Structure
Yeah.
you would expect. Something that I have noticed about Spoon's music is it seems to be some pretty liberal panning with things. You know, if you hear something, it's either way left or way right a lot of the times. Yeah, I thought that I really liked Kind of like how at one part, at a few points, it's just kind of like one note or one chord, but then they do a really nice job of kind of bringing the pieces to kind of to start doing the actual chord progression they have in the song, which is pretty cool. My favorite part was honestly probably when he was just doing the falsetto and you could hear it over like the acoustic chords. I thought that sounded really nice. I mean, just like any opener, I mean, it also depends about what follows. So let's keep going on this.
Next track is Love Forever.
It's a very spoon ass riff. Spoon moment here. Okay, like the heavy regenerations on the delay with the hard cut. All right. We got some like sus chord action here, some major to minor shit. Gets happy, then it gets crunchy. Okay, there's like a long instrumental break. Kind of like the Green Day songs, how they have like a solo section without a solo. This could be like chill hop. Different production. Yeah, I like this part of the progression. We'll talk about this part in a minute. That's kind of a janky fill on the drums. I like that though. Yeah, okay. I liked what was going on there. Some things. Some of like the where it's like very obvious major to minor kind of changed there. It's a little on the nose for me. But I do like a lot of the other changes they did. There was a lot of things. I'm at least glad they like kind of went for something. Just kind of went for it. I should say. I know this album Brit is in his open string era where he's just like hitting open strings and balty songs so far in between the chords. Yeah, it's definitely interesting. It is kind of all over the place. I think the highlight of that song, harmonically speaking, the highlight of the song to me would probably just be where it kind of gets like almost like a lo-fi kind of progression thing, where it's just kind of like, I mean, how you say it? It's just the chords, but it stands out as memorable. So why don't we keep going here?
All right, next track is called The Mystery Zone.
Starts right on the vocals. Pretty sure it's a 1-2 minor 4 progression, if I'm not mistaken here. Sounds like Stan from Sly and the Family Stone. Bass player, you know, he charges per different note he plays. More like sustained keys. Now we're getting Ghost of You lingers with that keyboard sound. I'm not loving how the bass sounds.
Is it too up front for you?
Isn't that like a super exciting tone? Especially if you're just gonna do one note. Yeah, I like this like spring reverb on like the guitar. Has that like kind of like surfy sound. I do like the piano that comes in. Yeah, like the bass picking kind of picks up there. Bro's noodling as fuck over there on the guitar.
Call me rigatoni because I'm about to noodle.
Squidward tortellini. So it's occurring to me now that we are only halfway through the song, and it feels like the song like really needs to go somewhere. Like this bass has already have more A's than I've ever had in high school, bro. I think I don't really like the keyboard sound of that synth that comes in there.
Pan a little bit to the left.
Yeah, well, what it's playing is interesting, but I would like to hear it kind of maybe done some other way. It's a little clashy, everything, for me. Okay, let's just do the same as that drum beat as before. Just drop it out. A real Rico solo here. Do like the tremolo tone on it though.
So big fan of the tone so far on this album.
The guitar tone.
Guitar.
Yeah, it's like classic clean sound, you know. I like the little like 1 in and 2 in and little guitar part there. Oh, what? God, I looked away for 1 second. I was like, all right.
And the lyrics, it even goes to the mist, and then there's just the M and Y, and that's it.
Oh my god. Okay, so well, let's go back. Let's go back there. So, I mean, I think I kind of shared most of my thoughts just kind of listening there. So, the song, I think, overstays its welcome for sure. A lot of it's just kind of hanging on one chord. I do like when when they start bringing in the piano. I do like the guitar tone. It's solid. It is kind of what I think about with Spoon. You know, some of their tones on their guitars are pretty good. I like them. Um, but
Pretty good.
yeah, I just think it was way too damn long. But
If it
you
was
know,
like a 2.5 to 3 minute long song, would you have said this is like a better Ghost of You Lingers?
well, this still is a better Ghost of You Linger.
Okay, even though
But
almost 5 minute song.
I don't think I would want it to just be like 2.5 minutes. I just really wish it went somewhere in the second half.
Yeah.
Like, especially because it kind of sounds like it's kind of like building. Like, I could imagine, like, during a movie, they're playing this and they're, like, building the spaceship to go, send off to Earth. We're gonna go to the mystery zone or some shit like that. But they never do. They're stuck in the shuttle the whole
I
time.
mean, I think that's one of the things for this particular song on this album is that this whole album, they're kind of like giving you things and then you think they're going to do something and then they don't. And for this song, that's what that moment was. Like, it builds and builds and then it just doesn't go anywhere. I did see it live and it was really cool live.
So, yeah, I've determined the problem with this one is that there's not really a payoff for it, for how long and repetitive it is.
But you liked some aspects of it.
I mostly like that chord progression kind of in that verse and the piano that comes in.
Where's this album going? All right, who makes your money?
Back to kind of a one-note riff. Okay, there's a lot of interesting things going on here, but I'm curious, are they going to go somewhere with it? Rest of the album has me believe no. Okay. More like single note, eighth notes things. Okay. I didn't think they were going to take it kind of, like, I feel like we're kind of in the same spot that we just were, but it's different now. Questionable falsettos. I do like the tremolo on the vocals. I think it's done in a tasteful way. I do appreciate that this bass tone is definitely different than like the last track. I did notice that. Yeah, so I liked some things about this one. The vocals were probably maybe my least favorite thing about it. But real quick though, so about the music. It kind of, I didn't know if I liked it at first. Like, I was like, okay, this is like an interesting keyboard sound, okay, I don't mind that. And I'm glad the bass line was doing something, because the guitar was pretty static. But it kind of felt just kind of like, I'm not going to say it like a bad jam, but it kind of sounds like when you're like, here's a cool keyboard preset, and you start jamming with someone, and you haven't like really found the groove. But I feel like they did kind of tie it together, like it did glue, especially after you got that bridge. I did kind of like that bridge section. It was very kind of casual and low-key, but it was pretty cool. Yeah, I am also something also about Spoon that I'm kind of shocked you like is the vocals, because I know to me I kind of just hear it as the Strokes guy, how they just kind of distort the vocals a lot. They both sing like they're pretty cool people, or they think they're cool at least. So yeah, I mean, I'm glad we have something a little bit different on the album. I mean, I don't even know if I would say that's that different than the other songs. I feel like I'm hearing a lot of different kind of a lot of the same elements so far, but it's kind of hard to say what these songs sound like from a first listen, you know?
Yeah, you were going to say something about the next track.
Yeah, so I have heard Written in Reverse. This was like a little Spoon playlist you gave me eons ago.
Years ago, yeah.
Yeah.
But do you remember it?
Not top of my head, but I'm sure I'll remember it in about 10 seconds.
All right, next track, Written in Reverse.
This is a real gaga gaga track. Pretty good scream. A lot of one chord stuff on this album, like just hanging on a chord. I do like that little dropout, how they kind of like felt like kind of back and forth on like the instruments. Somebody take that piano, listen to him. I do notice there's a lot of empty space on this song. Like the bass comes in pretty strong, a couple notes, and then it just kind of drops out. Piano sounds very far back. Oh, walk down. Oh. New section, bridge. Someone's cleaning their piano in the back. Dusting it. One note. One chord.
Little Neil Young special.
Oh, he bent it. He bent it. Fake out ending. Okay, I like the couple vocal tracks kind of falling on each other. There we go. That's the bass action I needed. This song needed. Okay, so Spoon has like this group of songs for me that are, I just call like the dance songs, right? There was a different song on this album so far. I can't remember if it was track 2 or 3, where I kind of felt like it could be kind of like a dance song, but they have like these like kind of like party dance songs to me, like this, Don't You Ever, Finer Feelings maybe. My thing is I only need like 1 or 2 of those in their whole discography. I don't think I need all of them. Like Finer Feelings is the one that I would probably go to because that one's got a really catchy chorus. I like that hook and stuff. This one just doesn't really do it for me. There's not really a lot for me to sink my teeth on. I know my reaction here might be a little lackluster, but I was trying to listen out for some cool details, you know.
See, that blows my mind a little bit. This to me is like the reason I put it on that Spoon playlist for you years ago before we even started the podcast is because I thought this was kind of a U track. Like
How so?
there's because okay, yeah, I know that you said they're hanging on one chord a lot of the times, but like even on that guitar solo part, the bass is doing a lot of cool stuff. Like, yeah, they're playing around they're playing around one chord, but he was still coming up with different fills and licks, guitar tones, and just like what the guitar was doing, and like the verse was just kind of like sloppy, but in a cool way. The song kind of drops in and out, like you said, which I thought it gives the song, which has a more straightforward progression, some more dynamics. I know you wouldn't have loved the piano bit, but just the fact that there's a lot of dissonance in this song, I thought you would have liked. So yeah, there's a lot of things that I thought you would have appreciated. So I'm a little shocked that you didn't like it as much. Plus, I kind of remember you saying you liked it when you heard the playlist initially. So,
I didn't know any of the other dance songs.
Yeah, that is true. I understand that your opinions will change because of this podcast.
Yeah, so, I mean, I do see what you're saying, and I did notice some of those things for sure, and I do appreciate them doing those things, but it just didn't really have an impact on me. Like, the song's kind of slow, so after we hear the song for, like, 4 minutes, and then there's, like, a dropout, and it's kind of, like, when you hear them doing it, you're kind of like, oh, they're gonna come back in, aren't they? It didn't have a lot of, like, punch, I was enjoying the bass work at the end, but it wasn't really always there. I must have overlooked it during the solo. I was just listening for what the guitarist was doing.
Wow. Okay. So our spoon meter is not looking good.
That was my least favorite on the album for sure. All right, I Saw the Light, track 6. We gotta be like halfway through this album.
Yeah,
so.
This is first song on the second side.
Got a little swing here. The Spoon chromatic thing. I mean, Don't Make Me a Target's kind of the chromatic one that I'll take. Okay. Cool. Like acoustic, just doing one note on the left side. Well, like a single note line. Do like when the kind of the bigger guitars come in, they're pretty chunky, kind of hairy. Okay, that is the best like one note thing on the album. I really like that chord progression they do right before this, the 2 chords. Reminds me of a specific song that I like. Wait, dude, we still have 3 minutes of this song left. Holy shit! I don't like him hitting that major note on top of that chord. Now we're talking. No? Okay. This is out here baiting us. from the piano. So is this faster tempo than the first part, or did it just okay?
I think so, because you said the first part was swing.
It's like more swung, yeah. So this is just not very interesting to me. So we've already kind of been hearing this descending thing. He's like not really doing like fills. He's just kind of like fucking with the rhythm, which is not a bad idea. I don't mind that idea. We've already heard a lot of these like one note kind of riffy things. It's kind of like My Japanese Cigarette Case, just I kind of like that more. It's just a little more tied up and neat. More like a song, straightforward. Okay, now that they're doing this little guitar riff under it, it gets better for sure. Oh, he's doing the bend thing. Okay. He's doing a throwback to it. I can't shit on that. Don't worry, I noticed. Interesting tone.
I know, it's like a
Like
phaser. Or
phaser.
something. Yeah.
Phasery, I would say. Okay, there you go. He's doing a different rhythm. I like that. That's much more what I would prefer there. So yeah, I mean, like this one at least was objectively more interesting than Written in Reverse, but it was also a minute and a half longer, and the second half of it really was not for me. I don't know what to tell you.
You're just not digging it. It's I mean, this is my least favorite song on the album.
I don't think I know you kind of prepared me like, oh, some of the production's gonna be maybe out there. It might be kind of a weird artsy album. That's not really getting to me because the things that I'm not really like heavy fucking with are just kind of like very common things. Like, oh, I don't like the tone of this synth. Okay, it wasn't like the craziest tone.
Yeah.
You know, or oh, I don't like this single note riff. It's like, well, there's tons of single note stuff going on in this. You know, and I mean, I think Written in Reverse maybe is the one song where I'm like, okay, maybe the composition could have been a bit better. Okay, Trouble Comes Running. We got a more brief track here. Okay. Testing out tones in a Guitar Center. Okay, came in a little earlier than I thought. There's no way you like that vocal delivery of Queen of Call Collect on my arm. Oh, we got very, very punk pop there for a second. I'm enjoying how they're doing these kind of like, sounds like a demo recorded, you know, one mic in a room type of vibe.
Drums are all the way panned to the left.
Yeah, I'm liking when they're really doing that. I think it sounds really good. Well done. Oh? It's like a little slide lead, maybe. A little tease. Alright, adding the extra voice on top, that was fun. Like a real, like, Kinks fucking ass 60s Strove thing. Well done. Well, I hate to inform you, this is my favorite song on the album. like solid my favorite. Is it like the best Spoon song you've ever showed me, the best song in a while on the podcast? I mean, I wouldn't go that far in a first listen, but no, I enjoyed that one a lot. I thought the production really fit the song. I wouldn't want the production differently. I actually really like the drums a lot too. Maybe it was I'm sure the performance and the part, you know, obviously is a factor in that, but I enjoyed it. That was really nice.
You said you had a late night last night, so this next song is dedicated to you. It's titled Good Night, Laura.
Good night, Laura, at 5 a.m.
Good night, Laura, don't you know you've been awake, so now it's time for sleeping.
Singing a lot different here.
Good night, Laura,
I don't know if I would have recognized him if I didn't know. I could probably just be from the piano, though, Spoon. I can hear like Ben Folds singing that part.
Okay.
I like that little melody there.
Oh, the humming?
Yeah. That sounds nice over it. I don't really like how the piano is done here with like the two tracks. I don't like that. I like this part on the piano though. Yeah, I like this whole section a lot.
So you like the chords, you just don't like the way the piano's being tracked.
Yeah, like the the piano like actual part in the beginning or whatever. It's kind of just whatever. But the only thing that like takes me out is I don't like there's like how they're doing the piano with like the panning on it. Like I like they're doing this on. They do that a lot, and I don't know if they think it's tough or if they're just a fan of it or what the deal is. Yeah, no, that's a nice little song.
Kind of like a little interlude track, you know?
Yeah, I like the vocals. I like the change of pace and the delivery as well. I could have almost. I wouldn't have minded it too if he sang it maybe a little more dramatically too.
Oh, really?
Like a little more like crooner style maybe.
Oh, okay.
Out Go the Lights, track 9. Kind of plinky guitar, not like wimpy, but kind of got a little plink to it. Okay. Once again, they flush out the chord for like one measure and then they forget about it. Okay, I like that guitar. Yeah, I am much more of a fan of the layering here with the guitars. Okay, the washed out reverb, tremolo picking type of thing. When he sings like that line, like in the verse and stuff, it does kind of remind me. It doesn't sound like Ghost of You Lingers, but it does kind of do that thing where the melody goes a little higher, type thing. That PTSD is just there, dude. They fall for you like a brick. It's kind of a cool line. Here they vibe out for maybe quite literally 3 seconds. So I'm noticing another problem here. Once again, we're halfway through the song and there's still another half to the song.
Just let the music take you.
You gotta stop saying it like that. I do like this bass action here. Glad the bass is doing something. I do like this big reverb on this. Tambourine? Snare? I'm always a sucker for like the big reverb percussion. Makes you think about a lot of 60s records. Yeah, I like that one. It's definitely a vibe track. Do I like the vibe? Yes. Passes the vibe check. So, I mean, that's all you can really ask for a vibe song.
Top 5 Spoon song for me.
Top 5 of all time. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's ridiculous to say that from the little Spoon I know. From the 30% of their discography I'm about to know. Now you would say that like these last 3 songs, Out Go the Lights, Goodnight Laura, Trouble Comes Running, are definitely kind of a different palette chord-wise than like the first part of the album. In the first part, we were getting a lot of the chromatic kind of and one chord type of things that I'm kind of used to with Spoon. But this is definitely a lot more kind of a more kind of just feel good, kind of like not questionable type of progression.
We're on the penultimate track. Got nothing.
Muffin. Sorry, excuse me, nothing. Okay, once again, this is like the 5th song on this album that has the same drum beat to start. Same one note start setup. Oh god, it's another like dance track. I'm calling it.
Dude, this is just a rock track to me. I wouldn't call this dance.
Hey, if that's where it goes, that's where it goes. Still like the bass tone. Scratchy. Oh, that's a nice little lead. Nothing too crazy, but it fills it out nice. I'm glad the piano is like doing like an actual rhythm, you know. Or more specific rhythm. I am kind of exhausted of the piano and the kind of the droning stuff.
You literally just a second ago said you liked it.
No, on the album-wise.
Oh, okay.
Whole album. That's crazy. I hear it for 5 seconds. Yeah, I'm done with it. I wish we had more of the guitar, because that's definitely the most interesting part of the song. On the right side, maybe. Okay, major lead. Not quite my tempo. There is some nice energy here. Oh, they're gonna cut it off again. Oh no, was that a Spotify crossfade or was that
No,
actual?
that's it's like
actually
the shortest fade you've ever heard in your life.
That's crazy. I swear to God, they must have faded it on the actual next track.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I don't have really a lot to say about it on the first note. I
You
mean,
got
I
nothing
think
to say about it?
I have nothing to say. It wasn't annoying or anything, but it was kind of bland. Like I'm okay with the song that just kind of riffs out. But they actually really toned it back on like the layers, which I do appreciate. But the vocals were just kind of doing something kind of generic. Like there wasn't really a strong melody. The strongest melody we got was that lead that we only get twice.
I'll say
in
I
the
really like
guitar.
the beginning where he goes, "Oh my brothers, oh." That little run. He only does it a couple
Maybe
times.
I
but
overlooked it. Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, I think this would probably go hard live for sure. I'm sure
This is like
a
one
good live track.
This was like, I think it was a single, but regardless, it's played every night. Yeah.
But maybe in the studio take of it, it's just a little underwhelming for me. I
Never
mean,
been-
granted, the first half of the album was a lot more, experimental, I would say, versus
Yeah.
this. So maybe it's a little bit of just that. So we get a final track here. Nobody gets me but you. Is there anything I should be warned about?
No, just that I really like this one, which means you will not like it.
Which means it's the worst thing I've ever heard in my goddamn life. I kept saying dancey, and now I regret it because this is officially the most objectively dance song. Where'd the bass go? Oh, there. Okay.
Nobody gets what I say.
Why are they
Must be
teasing
some
me?
way to convey. But no one else
Progression.
remembers my name.
Okay, called it.
Just those
Go
parts
back.
that I play. Nobody gets me.
Really interesting tone here. I'm not sure if that's like
Gets me but you.
a keyboard or a guitar like matching the bass.
No
You get this really funny sounding synth that just sounds like a little like Casio or something.
everyone else seems
I wish I was better with synths.
nobody gets me. Nobody cuts me like
The
you.
piano just took like 10 flights of stairs in like 2 seconds. Okay, they have something here, but they're not getting to it though. You know what I'm saying? Boys, lock in or something. Lock in. We've been on this for a minute and a half. Come on. I mean, it's kind of like when metal bands do that thing where they do like, they'll like do like the high up on the neck, like 2 notes that are just a half step off, and it's just like, here's the dissonance. This lead guitar on the left, it sounds nice. Does it really fit with the track? Is it a little bit square peg and round hole? We're in the last song of the album. Do I really care if it sounds a little bit like that? I just don't know what the song's doing. What is it going for? Is it supposed to be psychedelic? Is that what they want me to feel?
Nobody gets what I say.
I don't get what you're saying. Okay. I do like how reverb back this guitar is kind of like bright, kind of metallic. I do like that he kind of hangs on these like kind of like dyads. I'm kind of bored, to be honest. This little like reverse lead is kind of a cool idea here. Like it's kind of like that really fast piano thing earlier, just less ridiculous. Ridiculous, not like in like, oh my god, this is bad ridiculous way, but just like how over the top it is. Yeah, that song, I wanted to like it. At the beginning, it was promising, but it just didn't really go anywhere for me. Once again, like another, I think 3 or 4 times down this album, we'll kind of get a song where there's kind of like a groove or something. Not even much of a groove sometimes, but there'll be kind of like a riff or like a progression, and they just kind of, they hang on it for a few minutes, instrumental, which I appreciate that. I appreciate that for sure. But when the sections aren't really hidden for me, that's just a minute and a half of just whatever to me. I feel like I'm not saying that like these sections, like this part needed a solo. It's just the groove wasn't quite there. I liked what the bass was doing at the start, and it carries through, but like the progression, I didn't really like the placement of it. Once again, vocals that just didn't really grip me on a first listen melodically. I don't think the performance was bad. The guitar was kind of doing stuff that I liked. Some of it I didn't. I don't know if it really fit in. Not everything really meshed on this track. Like the last track was maybe a little bit too straightforward in kind of what it's doing for the groove. For it being like if it was a messier song, Got Nothing was, like a more just like over the top in your face kind of loose thing, I might have liked that one more. This one I think would have benefited from being just a little bit more just interlocking better, interlocked better. Like I'll say this on a first listen, I do need to give this a few more listens before I can fully give my thoughts. But first half of the album, maybe first half of the album, I think there was a lot of interesting things going on. You know, it was a little bit more experimental with the production, maybe. Um, and then kind of in the last half, there's a few songs that I do like as songs that I think are a little bit just stronger on a first listen. Highlight being Trouble
Running.
Comes Running was the one.
Yeah, yeah.
That was the highlight for me. I like Goodnight Laura. I think Out Go the Lights as well. I didn't mind. That's kind of the strong part of the album for me. But there definitely was a few songs where they just kind of hung on something too long. Something that I wasn't super into.
Well, go give it a couple more listens before your brain explodes, and then yeah, we'll see if this might be the end of the road for Spoon for you. All right, Tony, you've had another week or so to listen to the Spoon album, Transference. If I recall, you definitely had some issues with the record, similar to the last Spoon album you had. And I'm kind of curious if this album's grown on you at all, or if this is where we stop with Spoon.
I think maybe I should have reviewed Ga 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 Ga, but I think I do like this one more than that record. It grew on me a little bit, not so much in the sense that I listen to the songs 20 more times and I appreciate way more in them. I didn't really get much out of sitting down and listening to this album closely. I kind of got more out of it just having it on in the background and just kind of letting it be just kind of not like just vibes, but just having it be the background music to whatever I was doing. Which I don't think that's bad. There's a lot of, music like that I think is better in that way than sitting down analyzing every bit of it. I will say my least favorite song by far still is Written in Reverse. I think that one's annoying. Personal opinion. But fortunately, my three favorites are probably Trouble Comes Running, Goodnight Laura, Out Go the Lights. Maybe not in that order. I'm just kind of listing it as I see it on the album because it's a little 3-song chunk. But like kind of to me, it's like I like the beginning of the album, and then I like that kind of chunk, and then it kind of loses me at the end a little bit. So, I mean, I'll say the Mystery Zone was one that definitely grew on me. I think I was a little bit kind of burnt out on it by a first listen, which is kind of crazy to say. But I mean, it's catchy, it's trancy.
That's kind of how you were with Mrs. Potter's Lullaby on This Desert Life.
Well,
because it's like a long song that doesn't really change much. I mean, Mystery Zone changes even less, I think, than Mrs. Potter's Lullaby. Like, it has less chord changes,
I mean, it's kind of like you're in class, you're watching the clock go. Like, if you're actually watching it, it feels like an eternity. But if you just kind of like space out, tune in, and then you look at it, you're like, oh, okay, I guess we're done. That wasn't so bad. One of my favorites is actually Who Makes Your Money. What is it called?
Yeah.
I think it just has a really cool vibe. Like, I like the tremolo and like the keys and the vocals. I like a lot of the falsetto on this record, which I mentioned that a few times. Yeah, I mean, those are kind of like, I feel like my main takeaways of the album is I kind of like those songs. I like the falsettos. Some of the more just kind of like jammy stuff wasn't necessarily my favorite. But yeah.
So then I have two questions. My first question is, I guess, more broad in the sense that I'm curious. You mentioned like, oh, this album, I enjoyed it better because I kind of listened to it in the background instead of sitting down and analyzing it. Are there more than like, I feel like Darkness on the Edge of Town? Is there more albums I've given you on this podcast other than that one that you would actually sit down and enjoy listening to it? Because I feel like even the ones that grew on you, like Octoon Baby.
No, I like Octoon Baby. I would listen to that.
Okay, that one, like Recovering the Satellites. But other than like those three, are there many out? Because I feel like even the hip, like even your favorite hip album, are still
Death
ones
Cab?
that... Death Cab? Okay.
Narrow Stairs.
Okay. Because I feel like a lot of the albums you've given me, I really enjoy sitting down listening to, like the STPs, the Elliott Smiths, the Steely Dans. I I feel like I feel like there's only, well, I feel like with the ones you give me, there's a lot of ones where I just don't return to at all because I just didn't like the Softies or the Panic, Big Sur. But I feel like there's a lot that I actually buy on record, buy the vinyl copies of, where I feel like a lot of the albums I give you, especially recently, like even if you enjoy them, they're more background music to you, which there's nothing wrong with that. But because of how much you love music, I know that background music for you is different than a lot of average people's background music.
I mean, yeah, I mean,
like you and I like to sit down and listen to music and figure out parts and figure out why we like songs for whatever reason.
there's times where I'm like working on music, not like, oh, I'm playing a song in the moment, but I'm working on something very music related and I'll have music on in the background.
Yeah.
Like, or, you drive a lot, you have music on in the background or whatever. And like, so, I mean, I don't think it's like a bad thing to say background music, and I'm sure there's probably a better term you can use. I mean, think about a soundtrack, right? Soundtracks are acclaimed, but they're background music. But yeah, I mean, I think it just kind of depends on the songs. I feel like if there's a songwriter that you really connect with or a band that just makes you feel a certain way, like you're going to be drawn to it and you want to analyze and sit with it. A band like Spoon, I'm not drawn to. Like, that's just the way it kind of is, right? There's a bunch of different music. You're going to like some of it. You're going to hate some of it. You're going to love some of it. And for Spoon, I'm just not really drawn to them. But, like, usually what I do with my liked songs on Spotify is I just like either, songs I like or songs that I like that people tell me to listen to or whatever. And then I like it because when I hear it, it makes me think of that person. So I'm like, oh, yeah. Or it makes me think about a certain time. So, I mean, usually most of the albums you give me get at least a couple likes in there for the songs. So...
And this one had like 3.
Well, it's got 3 right now. But.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So that leads me to my second and last question here. I'm just gonna ask you straight up: do you want to get any more Spoon albums on this podcast from me? I'm giving you like a real like. If you say no, I will. There's other artists for sure I can give you and stuff, but and even if you say yes, I might not give you one for a while because I just But I'm curious if this is an artist where you're kind of like, yeah, I think I'm kind of done.
I think I'm good on the Spoon train.
Okay,
but by saying that, then like the thing with like the podcast is a lot of times you're gonna gatekeep an album from a band that I actually like and then wait to show me it and stuff. And then you just want to throw Spoon at me instead. But you can I'd rather have you show me a Spoon song and be like, yo, this is dope, check this out. Versus, here's a whole Spoon album at once, listen to this sucker 3 times. Like,
I know. I do feel like I wish we would have created that, I forget what we ended up calling it, starter pack type episode before I give you your first Spoon album. Like, we did the Dead Milkman episode where you're like, I don't feel like an album is, you're
not going to enjoy a whole album.
Yeah, so let me give you my favorite or the best songs from each album. I would have probably done that with Spoon for you because I do feel like there's an album's worth of their songs that you would enjoy.
You would have got it wrong, though. You thought I would like Written Reverse a lot, but that was by far my favorite.
That's the thing. I'm really bad with picking albums. Like Lindsay, it's almost like a running gag between Lindsay and I where I'll show her songs from an artist that she doesn't know or doesn't listen to really. And she'll go, oh, yeah, they're okay. And then she'll hear me listening to that same artist and like days later, but a different song. And she'll say, that song was great. Who was it? And I'll tell her. And she was like, you showed me their other songs the other day. And you showed me their worst songs. Like that song you just played was much better. Like I know
you mentioned that for Bob Cajun with the Tragically Hip. Bob Cajun's one of their best songs.
Well, yeah, that's funny. Like I showed her Bob Cajun.
I'm with you on that one.
Wheat Kings, and she was like,
Wheat Kings is kind of a weird pick, especially if you're gonna show 2 songs. Why show 2 that are?
And I also think I showed her like Grace 2.
That one took me a minute.
But Grace 2 is like one of her favorite songs. But yeah, she was like, she much prefer songs like Fully Completely and Apartment Song. And some of the non like hits. So yeah, but I'm glad you gave Spoon a chance. And I think you gave him a fair chance. I think they're just not you know, they're definitely not an album band for you. They might be a couple songs on a playlist band for you, but they're not an album band for you, and that's cool. You know, I got other artists to show you, so yeah. But I think that'll do it for this episode. Next week it is your turn. I don't even think we've discussed what you're going to give me, so right now it's a shot in the dark. So, but don't worry, you'll have some time to think about it. So, stay tuned for next episode. And until then, we hope you take care and you'll be hearing from us soon. Bye bye.